our first topic, where we will deep dive a bit, is on the topic of health. I've learned that in our bodies, we have this magical hormone called oxytocin. It's kind of the hormone of pleasure.
That we like.
Yeah, that you could, it can, reduce fear. It could really make you feel better. But it's also like our body's own painkiller. And oxytocin is brilliant because it can be stimulated through like physical touch between people. Yes. And giving feedback, being generous, sitting around, a fireplace. Even I heard drinking wine and having chocolate could stimulate oxytocin. And playing music can make us produce more of that love hormone of ours. Isn't that amazing?
It is. It's truly amazing.
So in my early 20s, I was stuck in a wheelchair due to a surgery. And I was also suffering from chronic pain syndrome. And of course, I tried all the medicine in the world. I've actually tried, I think, each and every painkiller that exists in the Western medicine, and also, I've tried acupuncture and alternative medicine. And it was really, really hard. And one day someone said to me, "Have you tried singing?" And when you're in pain, maybe that's not what you want to hear. But I wanted to try everything. So I went to a friend of our family's, a jazz pianist, who actually at the point also had a problem walking. So there we were, two hypocrites, in that room, and we started singing.
Wow.
And improvising. And we lost time. And I felt so good, and I didn't feel pain during that session. And I also asked him, "How do you feel?" And he felt so good. And I started to ask him, after the sessions, does it stay? Yeah, not for long. But for a few hours, it was like being in this bubble. So for me, that is a personal evidence of how music can really, really be part of creating health. And you and
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We always talk about this, that we cannot just share the good moments in life. We actually also need to also share the darkness.
Yes.
And only 2 years ago, you called me after a difficult message after doing a mammography. Can you share?
Yes. So 4 words that really changed my life. You have breast cancer. I actually don't remember much from that moment. The only thing I remember was aggressive, fast-growing. You will need surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. And I just thought, so is this the end? And I thought about how telling my children and my parents. And I can actually still today hear the scream of pain from my father when I told him, and also see the fear in my children's eyes. So it was a period of totally darkness, but it turned when I got my treatment plan, but also during my first visit, my first chemotherapy at Radiumhemmet. Because at that time I met so many other cancer patients that it felt like they've lost their faith. They were like paralyzed of fear.
So what did you do?
Well, I realized a number of different things. The first thing was that I really felt that, okay, I have a cancer. I'm not cancer. I'm like a mother, a daughter, a friend, a colleague. I'm like everything else but cancer. And then I also realized I've been working a lot in Africa, Asia, that living in Sweden, I am among the few women in the world that get access to this kind of treatment. So I really changed fear to gratitude. And then I also decided that I was going to give all my healthy cells in my body.
I remember this.
Yeah, I told you, maximum love. So I had a healthy diet with some wine and chocolate.
Okay, good.
And I worked out. But most importantly, I really decided to share all my feelings with people that mattered. And that helped a lot. And one example is that we decided, me and my sons, that I was not going to give the cancer any unnecessary tears. So before losing my super long hair that I had, my two sons shaved my head. And then the same day, my 15-year-old son, Julian, shaved his hair as well. And then I called my father, and then he also have shaved his hair. So we were like 3 generations of baldness. And that was kind of sweet. I felt very good to share the baldnesses. But finally, I really understood the power of music to heal. And that started when Andreas, a friend of mine, he started to send me small video clips that he recorded, where he sang and danced to me during my absolutely most dark and painful period of time. And that made my entire existence to smile, actually. It was fantastic. From all that darkness and pain, something happened in my body. And it was also the same during the time period of my chemo, where sometimes my body was so poisoned, so I really forgot who I was. Then music brought me back. And what happened then was that other of my friends started to send me their favorite songs. So all of a sudden, I was surrounded by love and music. And that really, really helped me through this difficult year of time. So for me, that is the power of music. And I wonder, is it okay if I share the first song that Andreas sent to me? So you understand why I was smiling. It's a little bit crazy in this setting, but I will do it, and I asked him. So please, this is the first song Andreas sent me, and then he sent me a number or more during the coming weeks.
But we're not going to see all of them, right?
No,
okay.
Only this one.
Jag kommer sjunga lite för dig, lite då och då, bara för att jag kan och för att jag älskar dig. Och se det som lite pepplåtar. Vi börjar med den här.
What if I would have sent one of my videos to you? I mean, not all of us are maybe that professional, but just bringing that joy into someone's life, we can all do that.
Yes.
We can send a song, we can, post a funny picture. It's important that change is also coming out of that positivity. And now we shared some of our experiences, but this is not what we do every day.
No,
It's not. But we're now going to meet 3 fantastic people who work with health every day. So please welcome and give a big hand to the artist and Suicide Zero ambassador, Janice. The founder of Grace Health, Estelle Joubert. And Claire Rosvall, who is the founder of Musikbojen and Min stora dag. Welcome up! Woohoo!
Welcome. So we will start with you, Claire. Claire, you are a real change maker and also a fantastic entrepreneur. And I have met you several times during when you worked at My Stora Dag, an organization which you founded. And now you have founded another organization that's called Musikbojen. Can you please tell us about the mission and what you are doing?
First of all, thank you for having me, and I'm still moved by what you said. I'm a bit moved by it. Thank you for sharing that experience. Musikbojen wishes to provide music therapy to children and youngsters in Sweden who need great support to heal wounds from social, physical, psychological situation, difficult situations. And what is music therapy? It's a health profession. It has clinical-based studies proving the impact of music on those people who need the support and need to communicate what they're feeling, and they cannot communicate it with words very often. But the music is the tool to open their hearts. And a music therapist is somebody who is very educated with knowledge of medicine, psychology, and music.
Thank you.
Janice.
And there are many people with me in this. I want to add, I'm not alone at all. We are 30 volunteers.
Oh, wow.
Very engaged in this project.
Fantastic.
So Janice, you're an artist. I love your music.
Thank you.
But you've also your initiative in mental health. Can you share a little bit with us why?
Yeah, absolutely. It all started when I released a song that I wrote a few years ago about my father, who committed suicide in 2011. So I released a song called Answer. And I would say that was like the start of my journey in the mental health question. So we released that, but after that I felt that I wanted to do more. So I started talking about mental health and how important it is to talk about suicide as well, to prevent it.
Yeah.
And a year after I released Answer, I met Freshte Piltan, who's an amazing director. And we decided to make a visual out of Answer, which became the short film Ode to Andrew, which we released when I became an ambassador for Suicide Zero. And now I work with them, and I'm so proud to be with them on their journey of their amazing, amazing and life-changing work. And hopefully we'll make a change. Yeah.
I think you are.
Yeah, you are. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing as well.
Of course.
So Estelle, you are one of the founder of Grace Health, and that is a platform for women health in emerging markets.
Yep.
Can you please tell us about Grace Health, but also your personal drive?
Sure. Thank you. So we founded Grace Health 1.5 years ago with the vision to improve women's health at scale. I think that's also what's interesting, that we're looking into that so many products and services and innovations are developed for people, often men, but also women that are privileged. And we saw that there's a great need for smart and relevant tools and affordable tools and services for women to just understand their own bodies, because they don't have competence what's going on, especially around sexual and reproductive health and rights. So what we wanted to do is bridge that and create something for the 1.9 billion women in low and middle income countries who actually own their own mobile phone. 1.9 billion women own their own mobile phone. So it's a massive opportunity for us to reach them through their phones in smart and affordable ways. So what we are is that we are a women's health clinic, then that women can access through their instant messaging platforms. So we saw that also what differs a lot from the usage in more high resource setting is how they access like technology and also their knowledge, preset knowledge, that they have no lower knowledge, but also cultures, that there's a lot of taboos and stigmas around female health. And I think what I'm doing this is because I have also a passion within women's health, that like you have to start with the women and yourself and to be educated to know yourself and to make, you know, when you understand yourself, you can make informed decisions about your life. And when you have and can make those informed decisions, then you can change, and then women can change the world. And I'm very passionate about the scale that we can reach through Grace Health. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah, give them a hand, all three. We shared some of our thinking, maybe not all of it is based on research, why we believe that there is a strong relationship between music and health. To all of you, can you elaborate a little bit on that? Why do you think that there is a connection? Claire, do you want to start?
Well, there are many studies, scientific studies in the world showing evidence of the effect of music on the individual. And it's talking to both sides of the brain, and it helps to heal many different situations affecting negatively people and turn it into a positive development, and like the pulse and the blood pressure and the stress, everything is improving, and it's evidence-based.
Yeah, and
there
you
are
see
many studies in Sweden too, ongoing. So this is really a good proof. It's scientific.
Yeah.
And that's the effect of music on health.
Yeah.
It's healing.
It's
music
healing.
is
Yeah,
healing.
it is. Does someone else want to comment on that? Other?
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I can only speak from my experience, but when I was like the first years after my dad's passing, I felt very, very alone. And when I listened to the music that I felt was very comforting, I felt that, I could hear that there was other people, that there was maybe they haven't like gone through the same situation I did, but they were there. And when I didn't have the words, they had it. And I mean, it's amazing. Just like that a melody can make you feel so much stronger, and like a voice can make you cry. I love music, and I always will. Yeah.
I think what we see is that we mostly then don't meet our users, but and women that use the platform, but when we meet and do testing and user testing and really try, like, do they like our service and is it working, we have a lot of women that share that it's very, very common in emerging markets to have their sexual debut from rape. So the first time they have intercourse is basically through rape. And I would say the majority of the ones that came out from that experience and had and managed to deal with it was through creative industries like music, and that music is a healer, as you also mentioned, but also a way of your personal identity, describe your personal identity and express yourself then through music. So I would say the majority also said, like, through creative industries we managed to get through this, and also through music.
We have spoken a lot of creativity and how we can use creativity to really change the world and solve some of the most pressing problems. When it comes to health, to equalize health and improve health, have you any concrete example what you can do to use more creativity? It doesn't only need to be music, but in general. Estelle, do you want to start?
Yeah, no, I think it's super interesting also what Playing for Change said here before. It's like, can a woman really play the flute? And I would say it's been the same for a lot of health issues, that a lot of innovations and a lot within health has been prioritized for men. So I think equalizing health is making health accessible and erasing taboos and stigmas around women's health. And we can get that through being creative and actually try to include the diverse set of knowledge when we innovate, so we don't sit, all the same alike and try to think that we can understand other people, but we try to be inclusive in innovation. I think that's the most important, to be able to understand and to understand other perspectives than our own.
Claire or Janice, do you have any thought on that?
Well, the creative industry, I see them rather as partner in fundraising situations, because of course this is charity we're talking about with Music Bond. So I'd like to see more partnership with the creative industry to help us give access to music therapy to all those children, and the amount of children needing support is unfortunately increasing a lot, and there is a big need there.
Yeah.
And
But
we know.
can I ask you, do you think, because I just get a little bit annoyed that now you're saying that there is research, but you then have to do it as a charity. Do you see a world in the
vision,
future where
what
you
is the
could
vision?
get music as a prescription?
Yeah, exactly. That's the vision, of course.
That's what you're hoping for? Oh,
of
good.
course. That would be perfect. But we are not living in a perfect world. And,
but there are a lot of people listening in here,
yes, but
who maybe would think that is an interesting assignment to drive, just saying.
But I mean, this has come a long way in many countries in the world, but everywhere they need the charity too.
Yes. You should connect the two of you, Health Grace
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Music Bond.
For sure.
So you really can
Of
have
course,
that as an access to the
yes,
company.
Indeed, indeed.
We have a symptom checker in our service, and also women can get relieves tips, etc., how to relieve cramps, etc. And music and dancing is actually one of the tips that we're giving, and
Good,
also
good.
That's
very
very good.
liked one.
Great.
Happy to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
all three of you.
this has been super interesting. And thank you to the panel, first of all. We will keep Janice here. Janice is now going to perform the song that she wrote to her father a couple of years ago. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And with me on stage we have Cassandra Klatskov and Andreas Sjöqvist. Thank you. Daddy, I feel lost. Wish you could hear my song.